Hi everybody. So I figured I owed you guys an update. I took some time just to deal with everything myself. So my frozen embryo transfer failed. I had transferred two embryos and neither one worked. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's weird because I felt them start to implant, or I thought I did, and I still kind of think they started and stopped, because that's what happened the first time with my fresh transfer. I had two embryos. One of them took, and one of them started and then stopped. So I think that might have been what happened now, because I immediately, like within maybe 24 to 48 hours after the transfer, started feeling some cramping like I did the first time. And so I was pretty sure that that was a good sign, everything was going to work. I was pretty hopeful, and then I kept getting all my negative tests, so I was thinking something was up, and I don't know what my beta number was, but they said it was negative, so it was probably pretty low. That kind of brings me to where I'm at. What's next? What do I do? What's the smart thing to do? I really don't know at this point. I have an appointment to go in and talk to the doctor, and I'm just really hoping that I'll be heard, because I feel like something's wrong, and I don't feel like I'm really going to be heard, because women so many times will have to go through IVF or pregnancies like a numerous amount of times before someone sits back and says, maybe something's wrong here. You know, I was a perfect candidate for IVF because obviously I couldn't get pregnant, and I was young, I had a really healthy uterine lining, everything went well, my body responded very well to the medications, everything kind of responded perfectly the way they wanted it to. So yeah, I seemed like a good candidate for it, and but I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm just coming up with some things that I think could possibly, I don't know that they are, but they could possibly be an issue. I haven't seen anybody on here have any videos to do with what's it called? Autoimmune implantation dysfunction. That's something I've come across, and I found some really interesting articles and a really interesting case study done by a fertility specialist about that thing. And basically, there is something that exists. It's somewhat rare. It's only like 20% of people have it, but I'm curious if I could possibly be in that 20%, because my embryos were good quality, and there's no reason why I shouldn't get pregnant or I shouldn't stay pregnant. Now, the first time after I got pregnant, I lost the baby right at the same time I stopped the medications, like the progesterone, the estradiol, that kind of thing. As soon as I stopped that, I lost the baby, and I just didn't know it for a couple weeks. And I think that sometimes when people have an autoimmune issue or an antiphospholipid issue or something like that, when they're not taking the proper medications their body needs to sustain a pregnancy, when they stop those hormones, they can miscarry. And I'm not self-diagnosing myself saying I have these things, but I feel like it's really something worth looking into. Now, where I live, healthcare is a little bit different, so it's a lot harder for me just to say, well, my doctor's not listening to me, so I'm going to go get a new one. It's not really that simple where we live. You need referrals, and you need someone to kind of support your claims and send you for the tests that you need and that sort of thing. So I'm just really hopeful that when I go and talk to the doctors, they'll say, well, maybe we'll look into that, because there's some testing that I want to get done, because to me it doesn't make any more sense to keep wasting money on IVF. I only have one frozen embryo left, and I'd like to give that embryo the best chance it can. And if there's something wrong with me, I want to know what it is. And even if we were to do IVF all over again, I don't want to spend another 10 grand if there's something wrong and it's not going to work. And I can't have 3 miscarriages due to IVF before that you do any investigation, because I can't get pregnant like a normal person. It would cost me $40,000 to have that, just to figure out what the problem is. So my dilemma is kind of sucky. But anyways, the condition I was talking about, it's more common in people with endometriosis of any stage, even mild endometriosis. And there's all kinds of autoimmune issues. You could have like what's called an antiphospholipid issue. You could have a heightened immune system, like your natural killer cells could be activated and kill your embryos when they're implanted or put into for implantation, and the things don't implant properly. There's also an autoimmune thyroid disease. Like there's all kinds of stuff. So I'm really going to try to push for some testing to be done, just to check those things. You know, if it turns out that it's all negative, great, I'll try it again and we'll see where we go from there. But I feel like there's something more wrong, because I went through 4 embryos and I have no baby. So I mean, something has got to be wrong. And this issue I was reading about is very much so missed in infertility clinics. They just don't check for this sort of thing because it's not as common, and more likely they say it's an embryo quality thing, but I've already been told my embryos were great quality. So I don't know, this whole thing, I mean, how long do I hang in there before I say, hey, let's just go adopt? Like, I don't know. It's a lot of emotions invested in it, a lot of time. It's so emotionally draining and exhausting. I mean, the disappointment is unreal. And it's been 5 years of disappointment. You know, every month you're trying naturally and you didn't get pregnant. You got upset because there was another month that went by and she didn't get pregnant. And then you did 12 cycles of Clomid, and every cycle on those 12 cycles was hopeful and then disappointing. And then IVF was the most hopeful thing of all. And then I got so excited because I got pregnant, and it was the first time in my life I've ever seen a positive pregnancy test, and it was amazing. And then that happened, and now this happened, and I almost feel worse now after having a failed frozen transfer than I did when I first miscarried, because now I miss that baby so much more than I did because I had this to look forward to. So, I don't know, I feel like time's ticking away, and I don't know. It's just so sad, really. It's just sad. So if there's anyone that has any experience with that sort of fertility issue, please wish me luck, pray for me, anything, everything. I'm going to try and talk to some doctors, and if I have to go back to the other fertility specialists and see if she'll listen to me. Hopefully we'll get some answers, and I will let you know how my appointment goes. It won't be till this January 16th, so I probably won't update until then, but I will update afterwards. And thank you for all my subscribers and my new subscribers too. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching and supporting me, and hopefully we can find some answers out and figure out what's going on. Anyhow, I will watch some videos, and thanks so much. I'll let you know how my next appointment turns out. Bye.